everyone, and welcome to the Sports Doyen. I'm Kushagra, and today I'm joined with Anurag and Prathamesh. We're here for the mid-season review of the IPL, sort of an Adda review that's continuing the form that we've followed with the Powers.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yes, we are here for I remember me and Anurag were there in the quarterly review, and Anurag, as we carry on, I'm sure our viewers would have a lot of questions over our predictions for the top four the last time that we had. Joining us this time as well will be Prathamesh as well. Welcome, Prathamesh. I'm
Yes.
sure you must be very happy with the way your team's been doing, and
Yeah,
that you're
definitely,
doing
man.
fine.
Oh, totally fine, man. I mean, I didn't expect this from my team because we are an alternate year team, but yeah, it's good. It's good that Rohit Sharma has been able to turn the odd into the 13th IPL odd rather than the year odd.
Yeah, consistency seems odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that level of arithmetic progression that Mumbai has had, Anurag,
For
it
a
was
long
bound to
time.
break
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah,
It was
obviously.
it was bound to break. And just as an opinion, I mean, just for our viewers, I would just once again repeat the top four and the bottom four. We have courtesy their victory yesterday. Delhi Capitals at the top, Mumbai Indians as second. If I'm not wrong, we have RCB as third
Yeah, the shock
Yep.
ones.
and KKR is fourth.
Fourth, yeah.
Yes, and then we have SRH,
CSK,
CSK, RR, and Kings 11.
Punjab.
Yes.
Yep.
When you said SRH, Anurag almost looked as disappointed as Harry Maguire after his red card yesterday.
Ah, no, but I
No
think
football jokes. This is a cricket one. No football jokes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think SRH, KKR, RCB, and even to an extent CSK. The four of them could be vying for those last two spots,
Yeah.
in the playoffs. So just carrying on with it. I think Anurag, we'll start with you first.
Yep.
How have you seen the tournament? First of all, can we just have a word on Anrik Nokia's insane bowling
Oh,
yesterday
wow.
last
Oh,
night?
fuck.
Oh, wow.
I don't. Of course, it was those were the fastest goals ever bowled in the IPL as well.
The
156.5.
first and the third fastest
Yeah.
deliveries were recorded yesterday in that 1 over. Yep.
Yeah, and 156.5, and Butler just
Insane.
swivels and
Insane.
flicks it behind for a four, which is insane. Just imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
that
imagine
timing.
Butler flicking that ball for a lap shot at
Yeah,
that
man,
pace.
for a dill, for not a dill scoop, but like a
Yeah,
lap shot. as
that's
you'd
like a
say.
proper Butler lap shot.
Yeah,
He does it
Butler
with so
lap.
much ease.
Anurag, I
See,
mean, just the
yeah.
level of timing. I mean, the confidence to play that shot. It just looks inhuman, like unhuman. Like
I
it's
know.
superhuman.
Yeah, it seems inhuman, but at the same time, there were plenty of people on social media yesterday who were calling out Rajasthan Royals for fixing the games again.
Oh, God.
I mean, if you are able to scoop a 156K delivery behind the sticks and you're calling it fixing, I really can't say anything else to that,
I
man. I
don't
mean,
know, man. I think
that is not a script you can write and execute. What else could you
Yeah,
say about that?
yeah, that way, Anurag, Kings
Huh.
11 have fixed all of their matches.
Exactly, precisely. Especially
yeah,
the first one which they lost to Delhi.
Yeah.
yeah. Arey,
Yeah,
you remember what happened with Mumbai Indians? They tweeted at 163 for 5 DC score. DC ended up scoring
yeah,
162.
that was very
There were
peculiar.
so many people, yeah, there were so many people who texted me that, Mumbai Indians is back fixing their matches again. I'm like, okay, at least, I got tired of it. After some point of time, you just feel like, okay, let them just talk what they're talking. I said, at least the team had the decency to fix it properly, and we fixed it like very, very almost as accurately as we could. You guys cannot even do that. I just decided to take a step down. But I
Hmm.
think that fixing thing is an total mess up. I don't know why fans
Yeah.
bring it up again and again. I don't think any player
Uh,
having self-respect would do that right now, especially in such a competitive tournament where this tournament gives them a platform to play international cricket. There's so
yeah,
many players who have really done well in the IPL. Indian players have done really well in the Indian team.
yeah.
So why
Again,
would you do that?
okay, moving past that, I think that's a very dull conversation. Let's not get there
Yeah.
again. So the tournament, and yes, just how do we spell it? It's Nokia,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nok,
Nortje.
but
Yeah.
I heard somewhere that it is almost spelled like Nokia.
Yeah, it's
It's
spelled as
pronounced that way.
Nokia. It's
Nokia.
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 spelled as Nokia.
How irrelevant of how it is pronounced, what a spell that was. And yeah, I think we've not been accustomed to watching that raw pace as much as we used to do back in the day, because there were many more exponents of it. There was Sean Tate, there was Brett Lee, there was Shoaib Akhtar when we started watching cricket, who used to do this quite a bit more regularly. 150 was the
Yeah.
norm for them. And
Yeah.
Shane Bond.
maybe Shane Bond, yeah, very much. He was towards the end when I started, but towards the end of his career when I started. But still, I think, yeah, he very much falls to that category. And I think that is something which is still very exciting, which still feels great. And the second one, which was there, 154, Dale Steyn. It was while he was playing for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. I saw that game in the stadium, and when the 154 came up, the entire audience erupted. And that is one memory I really have. That's what I've been thinking since yesterday, and how brilliant a bowler Dale Steyn was in our generation. And on a not so fast track like Hyderabad, he managed to pull off those speeds, even in that matters, right? So he managed to do that in Hyderabad. So that was incredible. So yeah, that tells you that people still get excited by these things, and it's great to see Nokia getting all that credit. He bowled really well, and I think he's been,
Nokia's got top three, right? He's got a top three speeds in the IPL
yeah. I think out of the top
in
five,
one
in
game.
the five, he has three. Out
I
of
think he
which the
has
second
two.
is still
Yeah.
second is still Dale Steyn,
Okay.
the one which I was
Yeah.
referring to.
Yeah.
First and third, and I think so fourth. I'm not very sure. There is Navdeep Saini
Rabada has
also,
got
I guess.
two. There's Rabada
Rabada,
has got two. Rabada is
Rabada
four
has,
and five.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. I'm not very sure about that
And
list.
I believe Nokia has two of them. Yeah.
One and three, that I remember very well. So again, coming back to the game, how about this for a fact? Nokia was KKR let Nokia go for 20 lakh. They got in Pat
Yeah.
Cummins for 15 crore, 15
Yeah.
and a half. Pat Cummins has been leaking runs. He's not been consistent. Let's be fair.
Yeah,
He's not.
he's not taking wickets.
Yeah,
Let's
I think the
be
price
honest.
tag has gotten to him, and
He's not
that you,
taking wickets at all.
yeah, that was the biggest prediction that most people could have very bluntly said that price tag will get to him, and unfortunately, that is what is happening. You can't think of anything else because Pat Cummins has been in such breathtaking form coming into this IPL.
Yeah.
You can't think of any potential reason why you could fail. So maybe whatever it could be, but what a signing that guy has been, and he's a bit like what Kane Richardson has been for Mumbai Indians. No one really was thinking about Kane Richardson doing well. If you
I think it was James Pattinson, Anurag.
James Pattinson.
I'm very sorry, Kane
Last
Richardson.
year.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. Shit.
It's okay. I think
James
what
Pattinson, yeah.
I really love about DC as well,
Hmm.
I decided to start during the PVL tournament that DC might do well and they should go on and win as well. What I really loved about the DC bowling lineup, when you look at Rabada, Nokia, and then you have the likes of Ashwin, what you saw in the first 5 overs yesterday is essentially what DC do to batting lineups. You bombard them with pace at one point, and then and if Rabada and Nokia don't get you,
They spin as well.
then Ashwin will come in and spin a little brilliance.
Yeah.
I think, and then Akshar Patel has been playing really well. He's been bowling fantastically well as well. So I think you can see with DC how well balanced they are, how they have been able to push on even without Amit Mishra, who's got injured. Ishant Sharma is not there in a tournament anymore. Not that he was playing a lot, but he would have added a lot of depth to that bowling lineup as well. So with the ball, I think that is something that we saw yesterday what DC can do, and that is what they have been doing for the entire of the for the entire of the IPL season. I think even with Mumbai, when Mumbai had to chase 160 or I think 165, but DC took the game to the last over when Mumbai needed 33 of the last five. So you can see that bowling lineup is really coming to the groove. The batting, I think I like the fact that they've brought in Rahane. I know it was a forced change because of Rishabh Pant's injury, but I really like the fact that Rahane is in. I think he brings a little more experience, solidity, and I think he is someone who can, score quick runs as well. Probably not as quick as Rishabh Pant, but I think Rahane at this point of time is a more consistent player. I like Alex Carey. I think we will really like to see him play one big innings at least, before Rishabh comes into the groove. I think DC are looking really good. Kushagra, your team, man. What do you have to say?
I'm just pleasantly surprised. Rather, in fact, if I'm being very honest, one could see seeds of a good team being sown last year.
Yeah.
One could see with the performance. I'm just a little worried. I feel Delhi Capitals are also an incredibly unlucky franchise. They lost Ashwin. Ashwin got back. Now they lost Mishra. Mishra got back. They could now potentially lose Shreyas Iyer. Bad fall yesterday while trying to save a boundary.
Yeah.
He got his arm stuck on the matting that is there. So one would hope that it's not a dislocated shoulder or something. It's just a sprain. But if it's a dislocated shoulder, then then that's a major worry, because I felt Shreyas Iyer, even yesterday, he batted really well. I'm really impressed by Shreyas Iyer. For me, last year and a half or 2 years, especially for 3 Indian batsmen, it's been incredible. As Shreyas Iyer has been one of them, and I'll not count Rohit Sharma into this list because I don't think he deserves even to be spoken in that list. I think he's already one of the 2 best batsmen in the world, so I won't talk about it. But as far as the 3 newish batsmen is concerned, KL Rahul, of course, he's rediscovered his form. Shreyas Iyer and Mayank Agarwal, these 3 for me have been the outstanding players, in the IPL and also in the domestic circuit and in whatever limited or regular international opportunities that these 3 have gotten. So I'm very, very impressed with them. I feel these 3 going ahead will be the backbone of Indian batting. So as far as Delhi Capitals are concerned, really impressed with the captaincy. In Rabada, they have a cheat code. It's like having Bumrah.
Yeah, he's almost like get out of jail card.
Yeah, it's like having Bumrah in your team, or it's like having Virat in your team, or something like that. Because at any point, the captain can turn to KG and tell him, KG, I need a wicket, and more often than not, KG delivers. You just look at his stats; it's absolutely ridiculous. That man has 18 wickets in 8 matches at an average of around 11.5, economy rate of a shade under 7.5, 8. So I mean, it's unbelievable the way
he picks a wicket every 10 balls.
Yeah,
at least almost like 2 or 3 wickets a game.
Rabada's statistics have been unreal, quite literally unreal.
And the very fact that what stuns me out about Rabada is that his first ball that he bowled yesterday, I know it was clipped on the leg side for a 4 by Stokes, but the first ball that he bowled was at 146, ended the spell at 149. So his pace range is between 145 and 150, 155, that range. Something like what your Nokia we were discussing, And just for someone to consistently be at that level, come in, bowl 1 over in the power play, then 1 over in the middle overs, and then 2 at the death. It's just unbelievable the level of consistency he's brought to this side. And he, for me, is the most important player in the DC side right now. And I know they've got some fantastic batsmen. I'd like to move on, actually. I'd like to move on to RR. I must confess, I was very disappointed with them yesterday. And I felt yesterday was a match they could have won, and they could have completely, turned the tournament on its head, because had they won yesterday, they go to a 4-4 record. Delhi lose 2 on the bounce, and then there are doubts within the Delhi team. Because let's be honest, 162 wasn't a good enough score yesterday on that pitch. And Delhi's bowlers won them the match. There were some stats. They scored like 25 runs for 4 wickets in the last 5 overs, Rajasthan. Yeah. And Delhi themselves didn't do any better. Delhi themselves scored like 32 runs in the last 5 overs. So, both of these teams need to have a look, have a very, very, deep look as to what is happening there at the death in terms of batting. But otherwise, Prathamesh and Anurag, just a brief word from your end. We were discussing Sanju Samson also before we started the video.
Yeah.
Just a combined word on Kings 11 and Rajasthan, and then we can move on to some other teams. For Kings 11, I don't know. It feels like they need to have some havan or something, some religious ceremony. I guess kuch to karna padega, because I don't know kahan se kiski kali nazar lag gayi hai, what has happened to them. That whatever decisions they're making now, they're talking about Anurag playing Chris Gayle.
Does not make sense.
It does not. I can't even understand. Okay, you play him, then who do you drop, and what happens? Like KL Rahul comes down.
I think you drop Maxwell, and then Mayank comes down one. Bro, I don't know. Or probably KL plays at 3, or KL plays at 3, and that would be suicidal.
But then again, you just get in Gayle just for the batting, because he clearly can't field.
No, he can't. He definitely can't. And Maxwell can save you 15-20 runs that he might not score.
This is like typical when there are floods, you can't take measures that we should be taking for an earthquake. The problems are not with the opening department. They're scoring plenty of
Yeah.
runs, man. What?
Both of
Why
them
do
are
you
top
have to
two,
think
bro.
about that? Huh?
Both of them
Yeah.
are top two in
Both are
runs.
Exactly.
top two in runs.
I mean, what else do you want from that openers? I mean, why do you even want to change anything there? Uh, I mean, there are plenty of loopholes, and there are players who could literally come in and maybe even if you want to uh, take Maxwell out for a game, I think there are all rounders who could do a good job. There are some Indian batsmen you could bring in. That you could bring in. I'll have to take a look at the squad to just be
I
Ah,
very
think
clear
I
as to
think for Punjab the biggest miss has been their Mr. Consistent David Miller.
yes, exactly. That's what I was going to
yeah,
come to.
David Miller. Yeah,
Pratmesh, don't you think it's such a retarded decision now for them to have traded off David Miller, and he's sitting on the bench at Rajasthan as well, not like
yeah.
he's there. They could have clearly played him. They could have someone like David Miller. I know last couple of years his form has been like he has like one or two good innings in the entire
Yeah.
season. I know he's not been consistent on the international level or at the IPL, but surely he could have been a better option than a lot of people that they have in the squad.
Yeah, I think definitely, and I think now the problem for them is they can't even get him back. I guess because of the you cannot move to your old team, like immediate old team,
Oh, is that so?
in the mid transfer. I think that's what I heard somewhere. I'm not entirely sure, but
Okay.
I
Did not
think
know that.
if that is the case, if that's the case, you cannot move to an immediate older team. Then I don't think even that is an option for them. I think they are one of the teams who desperately need that this mid season transfer window to actually go well. They need to get someone who's actually not playing much. I don't think David Malan has played a game for
David Malan, CSK.
for CSK. I
That
think
again. I mean, we'll come to CSK. Just a final word from the two of you on RR and Kings 11.
Yeah.
Do you think their struggles will continue? And just as a case in point with Rajasthan, their tendency of throwing away matches, and for both the teams. I'll just come to Pratmesh first, and then Anurag to you as
Yeah.
well. Pratmesh, does it talk about a lack of belief? Like I don't know. It's very surprising to me because if you look at Steve Smith and KL Rahul as characters, you don't think they would be kind of people that you'd associate with lack of self-belief or lack of self-confidence, because the way they tend to express themselves on the field, they seem like people who believe in themselves. What is happening? Because you have the likes of Jofra Archer, Stokes, Butler, and Smith.
yeah.
All four of them are world champions in the Rajasthan squad. All four
Yeah.
foreign players that they're playing are world champions, and they've got some really good Indian players. I feel like Tewatia is one of the finds of the tournament.
Yeah.
And beyond Tewatia, if used properly, Sanju Samson is a very good player. Riyan Parag, what a waste of a run out it was yesterday, criminal. And
Yeah.
same thing with Robin Uthappa. I don't understand how
What is he
long
trying to do?
will Robin Uthappa keep playing. Anurag, I think we should go and apply.
I would rather prefer Lomoror in that team. At least
I would rather go
Yeah.
in with 10 players, bro. I
Yeah.
know he scored 30 yesterday, but he cost.
You're still
Riyan Parag,
handicapped when
which for me
Yeah.
cost the game for Rajasthan, because Robin Uthappa at no point he was hitting one boundary in 7 to 8 balls.
You
That's what
remember in the 2017 Champions Trophy final when Hardik Pandya and Ravindra Jadeja had that run-out mishap where, you know, Pandya was the guy who was playing well and sort of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jadeja could have done something better. He could have been a little more responsible.
Yeah.
It felt a bit like that. I don't know for what reason Jadeja took the seniority there and for what reason Uthappa took seniority yesterday. If they would have gone by form and had they used their senses a little more, Parag might have played. Who knows?
Yeah.
I know it's not
I
very
think-
entirely
yeah,
the same.
But
yeah.
coming at the problem which you discussed, Kushagra, I think rather than that, it's that the lack of I can't say lack of leadership, because you can see a lot of leaders in both sides, but I think it's the application and the transformation of that leadership and actually going into the players' heads and trying. I issue with the players. It's the application of those players actually on the pitch. You look at Sanju Samson, right? Classic example. Such a talented player, but such a wasted talented player as well, because he plays like 2 or 3 matches out of 14 in the IPL, and then for the rest 11 matches you carry his name that he should be playing in the Indian team, and then he gets out, and then you say, he was just trying to hit something, didn't work out for him. I think that is why he's not been making into the Indian team before
That's what
the.
happened yesterday as well, right?
Yeah,
Went for
exactly.
126s.
Yeah, I think he just threw his wicket away, and he does that consistently. And I think Anurag you were telling me before this video that he talked about I would rather score 100 than
I would rather
yeah,
score a double hundred in every 10 games
yeah,
than consistently pile up 40, 50 every game.
exactly. You know,
Really,
that tells
yeah,
me a
He
lot
said
about his
that. He said
mentality.
that.
Yeah,
wow.
I think that shows that.
See, yeah, he's that risk-taking player. I think in every team, it's good to have one risk-taking player, and it really works if he wants to do it that way. But again, if see,
You look at
it's
you
not
look
just
at
about taking risks, right?
yeah,
You saw in his debut game where he came in, he hit a six of the first ball for India, I think in the T20s. Not the debut
yeah,
game, but his recent comeback. I think it was against New Zealand. I can't remember.
yeah. It was
He
against New
came in,
Zealand.
he hit a six. He had a good platform to build on, and again he went for a slog. I know that's his
Yeah,
game, but I don't know. I'm a
you know,
little on the
I
fence on
know,
this.
I know,
55% on the
yeah.
disagreement side.
I know people talk a lot about ABD, you know, the way he is Mr. 360 and everything else,
He's
and
the
that
most logical batsman
yeah,
one can come across
and
eventually.
look at the application of someone who scores a lot of runs quickly. I think I think the game is evolved beyond you becoming a slogging batsman. I think it's about how you score the runs, how you apply that game of yours into scoring runs. It should not ideally be a slogger. I think you look at ABD and look at the consistency that is brought in over the years in the IPL in the international circuit, and that tells you a lot where Sanju Samson needs to evolve into rather than trying to be that uh, that traditional come if like come swing and go. If it swings and if you hit, then you score a lot of runs. Otherwise, you just do what Sanju Samson has been doing for the last few games. Yeah,
Indeed.
Yeah, and also I think Sanju Samson's from Kerala, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and as far as I know, Devdutt Paddikkal's family is also from Kerala, and
Yeah,
even though
but
he's
he
come
plays
and
for, yeah.
settled in
Yeah.
yeah,
Karnataka now,
Even
but
Karuna is from Kerala.
yeah,
yeah,
so I will not use Karuna as example here. I'll use Padikkal. Padikkal is
Yeah.
someone who can be a sort of a compatriot to Sanju Samson, right?
Yeah.
Sanju Samson needs to study Padikkal's game. Should study the way he leads the ball, the way he plays it on the merit, the way he can hit sixes, but doesn't go for sixes every ball.
yeah.
It's just stupid how Sanju Samson plays. And if he really honestly believes in scoring a double hundred every 8 to 10 matches and not
Even the great Rohit Sharma can't do that. He's played so many games. He's got only three. And every time we
Yeah.
expected a double hundred from him.
and
Yeah,
and
every time he scores
It's
a
not that
hundred, it's
way.
like
and
yeah,
and believe me, it's not about double hundred. It's about
Yeah,
helping your team.
exactly.
Sometimes your team will need 30 from you. Sometimes they need 130 from you.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember the last time we were talking about Shubman Gill's chanceless knock against
Yes,
Sunrisers
that
Hyderabad?
70,
One of the best knocks,
yeah,
1760 balls, but one of the best knocks of this season.
barely a strike rate of 120, but
Yeah,
it won them the game. That
yeah,
is what Virat
yeah,
Kohli. Virat Kohli day before yesterday scored 34 of like 30 balls or 29 balls
yeah.
when ABD completely overshadowed him.
yeah. That was
That doesn't
magnificent.
mean his
Yeah,
knock was any less valuable. I
And
know
I
he's
think
not being able to hit the ball, but he stayed there, ensured that De Villiers could, take risk and everything else. And, that's how they got the score that RCB did. So all of this, I just feel like, Sanju Samson really needs to have a hard look at himself if he wants to have a consistent Indian career. Otherwise, he'll always end up being, and, I hate, I'll probably move on to SRH after this. I hate using his name in that manner, but he'll end up being a Manish Pandey, playing
yeah.
20, 30 odd games for India and, just getting faded out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Before we head there, I think we've talked about DC, we've talked about RR. What is the other team that we've talked? Kings 11. These
Punjab.
are so where would you put these three teams? I think the last time only I was a person who was putting into quadrants. Kushagra missed that. So let's before heading into the next set of teams, where do you put these teams? Prathamesh first.
DC, you want me to start with Delhi?
Delhi,
Uh,
RR, and Punjab.
for me, Delhi definitely make the top two. I think
Yeah,
they might even end up first in the table if the
yeah,
net run rate improves. Rajasthan, I still feel they are the dark horses. I don't know. I just see them being a dark horse. I think they might get over that. I think once Steve Smith gets over his whatever mental block he's going through right now, I think they will be in a better state of mind. And when your best player plays well, I think you usually the team follows and gets inspired by it. And Smith is definitely one of them.
yeah.
With Punjab, I don't know, man. I see them finishing seventh. I
Or
don't know
eighth.
because I would not put them in the top four. not at all like to see them finish there, but it's just that you can't win games with just two players in your team.
Yeah, truly. And Kushagra?
That's interesting. I'll agree there. DC, I see them finishing top two easily.
Yeah.
I feel in terms of overall combinations now with the injuries and everything else, I feel they're probably not the strongest squad in the IPL at this point. But if they're able to get back, Shreyas Iyer, and if they're able to get back Rishabh Pant, I think they have the best starting 11 in the IPL. So DC definitely amongst the top two. RR and Kings 11. As much as I genuinely don't think these two are the worst sides in the IPL.
Indeed, yeah, that's a problem.
It is. I'll keep. I think I'll sink with that ship of me saying that Kings 11 are one of the best squads in the IPL, and I still believe that. Still believe that they're not using the right combinations. They're They're making some basic errors, like sending Simran day before, like 2 days back, to come in before Maxwell. It's just ludicrous for me. I don't care how bad or good Maxwell has been. You don't send a 20, 22-year-old kid, in his second ever match in the IPL to win you a game from there. Then the very first match, we've spoken about it. The one run from 3 balls. Come on, man.
Yeah, bro.
So that happened. And, there are so many instances with Kings 11 that has happened. It's just unbelievable. You talk about fixing. Why would someone lose every game? You probably get a heart attack yourself. Because it's not been fair on Kings 11 supporters, so I feel for them.
Yeah, indeed.
But at this point, I can't see Kings 11 or Rajasthan Royals getting out of the bottom two. I just can't, because I feel the momentum's completely turned against them. And I'll make a surprising statement. We're not on them right now. I still feel Chennai will spring a surprise.
Yeah.
I think Chennai will make it to the 4th spot somehow, somewhere. Someone has his hand over Tala and just does it. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you, it started to click last time. He scored 21 of 13, or 21 of 10, sorry. 21 of 10 in the last match.
And that one big 6 that he hit.
Oh my God, that
was
six.
Gigantic.
And even when he got out, that really was, he was going for it and everything else. So things can change, and if they start to turn for Chennai, that it will be very interesting, because I see another Chennai-Delhi semi-final and Delhi choking, because it just happens. It just happens. So, moving on. We're going to move on to SRH,
No, you haven't picked you haven't put the slots as yet, have you?
I told you. RR and Kings 11 in the bottom two, I don't see them qualifying at all.
Perfect,
And Delhi amongst the top.
I think I'm going with that as well. The reason why I'm going with RR in the bottom, I think Kings 11 and DC need no explanation, but RR in the bottom last quadrant, because it's not the way it's not the 3 matches lost and the 3 matches won and the 5 matches lost. It's the way they've lost those 5 matches. And that game against Sunrisers, Tewatia and Parag literally saved their asses out of nowhere. Even that they were very poor in that game throughout. They let Kane Williamson take control where they should not have. They everything was in their control, and they kept slipping it away. They were lucky. They were very lucky that day to get a win. So that's why it makes it a little more competitive, and that's why it makes Prathamesh say they could maybe be the dark horses. If they had lost that day, I think we all could have unanimously agreed, no, this team is out. I think they will finish in the bottom two, because it's just the way they're playing. It's very horrible. Moving on.
Moving on, and now we'll have a look at 3 other teams, which I feel have had a mixed season of sorts.
Very much.
Sunrisers, CSK, and KKR. We'll start with Sunrisers, the team which is in the 5th spot. They've been there and thereabouts, between the 3rd to 5th range. They've kept on fluttering between those 3 spots, and as you see, I think Sunrisers play tonight, right?
Tomorrow, and a day after, I think.
So Sunrisers have a decent break in between matches. Again, with the loss of Bhuvneshwar, with the lack of form of the Siddharth Kauls and Sandeep Sharma.
And even David Warner hasn't been in good form, honestly.
And David Warner hasn't been in good form. At least he hasn't looked fluent. He has scored couple of 50s, but he hasn't looked fluent. Johnny Bairstow, is kind of a player.
He's a hit and miss.
work once every 3 games. I think he'll work. He's that kind of a player.
Yeah.
Beyond that, Manish Pandey has had a couple of knocks which have been important, but then he's had a couple of failures.
Kane Williamson has been a savior.
Kane Williamson has been the best batsman, but again, Kane Williamson remains a problem.
Yeah.
Because what surprises me when I go through the Sunrisers squad, Anurag, is the level of foreign players that they're not being able to play.
Yeah.
Like Holder, who's not playing, Nabi. I think Jason Holder is with the Hyderabad, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yep. He was roped in for Mitchell Marsh. Yeah.
Yes, Mitchell Marsh, who's gotten injured.
Yeah.
Nabi. I feel Nabi will be a perfect
fit. Yeah.
Off spin. He's a decent fielder and he's a good hitter at the death. These and also the fact that Vijay Shankar.
Nabi actually sometimes bowls in the death as well, and he bowls.
Yeah, I've seen him bowl in the power play and at the death.
Yeah, exactly. And in these UAE conditions, so he's even more lethal. If you remember before in the Sunrisers video that we did before, we all expected he should play minimum 10 games, and it's been 8 games, and he played only 1.
Him and Rashid, the Afghan combo, to play very well.
That's been very disappointing, to be honest. Yeah.
Rashid has been good. So how do you see Sunrisers going on? Do you think there are there any mid-season transfer window suggestions? Just for our viewers, if you could explain to us, a little bit around this mid-season transfer window, whatever your understanding is.
Yeah. So basically, now that all the teams have played 7 games, every team, they can look into the other teams' squads, and if there is any player who has been underused, for example, the criteria is if there is a player who has played less than 2 games in the other teams, you can approach just the way it happens in football, and you can ask for a transfer. And I think it has to go. There are some obligations with regard to the entire purse as well, the purse limit which is there. So I think it could be like shipping one player to them and bringing one here. It could be that way. I'm not 100% sure about this, but the criteria is that player should have played 2 or less games.
Yeah.
So I think that sort of rules out Ajinkya Rahane from a move. I think I think CSK sort of a team would have been good for him because he rotates strike at least. He's not like he's going to give you a very blunt slow start, or he's going to give you a brisk fast start or something. I think CSK would have made great use of it, or even Sunrisers for that matter. I think just a presence, just a solid presence in the middle order. I think that could have been great. So that is what is the problem. And since we are talking about the Sunrisers, I really don't see anyone else coming in. At least I know we're very used to football transfers, and we talk about transfers only when there are rumors. So now that there are no rumors, it's very difficult to sort of predict what could be the potential outcome. So yeah, I think if there is any moment, they will be looking for an Indian middle order batsman. And in that regard, Ajinkya Rahane was one person who was available, but as it stands, he's not. Who else is really available? That it really makes me pinch myself to think who is the Indian middle order batsman who can really come in. Saurabh Tiwari has played 3 or 4 games. Yeah, he's not.
He's played 1 game. He's played 2 games. Yeah, he's played 2 games and he got injured in the.
He got injured in the second game.
Yeah, but I think I was sort of surprised he played. He's going to solve the problem really.
Yeah, he's not.
And again, he's a liability on the field. So.
Yep. Yeah. So I think Sunrisers have a better chance of trusting the current squad and going ahead, and maybe just see, Manish Pandey is one player who can slog right from the outset. So what I feel is he can do well at number 4 as well. If you are, T20 is a small format. You only get 90 minutes to play. You only have 120 deliveries. You need your best 3 batsmen to play as many deliveries as you can. And this is the simplest way to explain T20 batting in T20 cricket. And there is Johnny Bairstow and David Warner. That is fine. Obviously, if there is one person who's better than both of them right now, it is Kane Williamson.
Yeah, coming on, I think Sunrisers have sort of swapped places with KKR. Anurag,
yeah, indeed.
I remember both of us discussing KKR as the team which could, potentially shift from the 3rd quadrant to the 2nd quadrant as we have it, mapped out in our graph there. But I've been very fairly impressed with KKR. Just one question I don't understand is that why do they not keep on insisting with Rahul Tripathi at the top, because I think he's wasted coming in at number 6.
Very much.
absolutely wasted. They could rather go in with some pinch hitter sort of a player, or rather just, I know Sunil Narayan at this point with him being called for chucking and everything else, his bowling is in these contentions right now. But still feel I think you would agree with me here. Feel KKR have a very very good shot at making the final four there. Coming on to CSK, Anurag, do you see familiar tides coming into shore, the same side of the moon that we've always seen, the very
Yeah,
fact you can't see the dark side of the moon.
yeah,
Is their bad form going to go to the dark side, and we're going to see the pleasant face of Mahendra Singh Dhoni again?
yeah. This uh you know
It was just
fact
one
that
performance, Anurag.
yeah,
I'll just for our viewers. I know you'll call us all deluded, carried away, Dhoni fans, fanboys, Tala,
army, whatever. Yeah,
whatever. But the way they won and the way the team played, the absolute command with which the performance came, and you can actually picture them doing it against any team.
yeah. That is a problem. I think you know there was a point when we felt this team had literally lost life. It's not about just losing the games. Those were lifeless performances in the starting half, and from there, for that team to have picked up uh, that pace, and now in the game against Sunrisers, they really looked strong. And uh, I think that was a very complete performance in terms of you know pegging down a very strong team. That day, Sunrisers looked decent, and I think they could have gone all the way had CSK not been cautious and been proactive right from the outset, which they were. And Dwayne Bravo bowled really well towards the end. So yeah, I think that all of these things worked really well for them. And yeah, I think this it's gonna be one same old story. Uh, uh, I think so. Yeah, I'm going to put. I don't know where to put them as it stands. Because
I feel like third quadrant is still safe enough for them. I think
yeah,
we have a couple more performances for us to,
yeah, exactly.
start
I
putting
think
crosses.
yeah, I think I'd still put them in the third quadrant, but I think it has to be one or two perform. I think by the next quadrant, I think we might be talking about them shifting from third to the second. I think that could be possible, and if that happens, I think, oh my God, this team has something else. This
The
really,
sun rises from the east and CSK make the playoffs, isn't it?
yeah, I know, right? Incredible. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there is. We've lost adjectives to describe it. Yeah, this is what this is
They've been
why I think a
so
lot of
poor, man. They've been so poor.
yeah.
They even in this match, I remember they were like 20 for 1 in 4.4 overs or something like that. And
I know.
we've got Pratmesh in the comments talking about them being Roma rising from their ruins and everything.
Yeah, yeah, that is exactly
They
what is happening.
do that, if they are to make the top four.
The wordings rising from the ruins, I think that fits so perfectly into the
Yeah,
context
fits
right
like
now.
a glove. Fits like a glove.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move
So
on to the.
yeah, I think third quadrant, and like, yeah, the next team, I think it's gonna be some another
Yeah.
couple of interesting teams.
Let's move on to the other team, that is RCB.
RCB and Mumbai Indians are left, I think so.
RCB and
Yeah,
Mumbai. Two superstar teams. Two of the teams with probably one or I think the biggest followings all over the country.
Yeah.
Apart from CSK, of course. That's the team of every Indian. We've got Pratmesh teams as well. He's been shouting Mumbai best, and
yeah,
all of that. MI has been fantastic. MI is like, MI, you expect MI to win. And MI is like the Real Madrid Barcelona sort of a thing of the IPL, right?
yeah,
You always expect them to be at the top. They've got one of the best squads in the league almost all the time. And they've got a very balanced side, and they've been performing well. They've had a very impressive victory over DC as well. You fully expect MI to, if not to make the final, but at least to qualify as one of the top two teams.
yeah. I think it goes without saying they're going to be in the top. They're going to be in the top two. So that's where that completes our first quadrant, which is Delhi Capitals and the Mumbai Indians. So I think it's needless to say that team. I think they've broken that jinx of alternate year stuff, playing well. Yeah, they've done it in a good way. They've broken that jinx in a good way, It could have gone the other way by not winning alternate years. I think that even that could have happened. That we don't know. We'll have to see next year. But what they've done well this time is, I think they've won at the auction table. They brought in some amazing players, and I
Yeah.
think that's really paying off. And they have Chris Lynn on the bench.
Yeah, yeah. They've got some really good players on the bench
Yeah.
as well. And,
Bench strength matters, man. That's
and as Prathamesh also pointed out, the wickets have been distributed very evenly amongst the Mumbai bowlers, as you can see. Pattinson, Bolt, and Bumrah have gotten 9, 11, and 11 respectively. Rahul Chahar has been very, very, very impressive. Kieron Pollard chipped in with a few wickets. I think his first few wickets since 2015 or something. And they have Nathan Coulter-Nile, and they got plenty of options. Even with bowling and of course the batting. Goes without saying, it's one of the best batting lineups in the league.
Truly.
And coming on to the last team for our discussion here, I would say they've been one of the surprise packages in terms of the results. At least, I still am very doubtful with their performances. Still, I'm not entirely convinced. I feel Navdeep Saini has been one of the highlights of the IPL, not just for RCB. I think for Indian cricket, it's just so heartening to see an Indian bowler running in on those placid Middle East tracks and bowling at 150. Consistently bowling at 145, 150. Yeah. And, I've been so pleased.
Isuru Udana has come in well as well.
Yeah, Isuru Udana. Isuru Udana is another player to it that, that has surprised me in that sense. Because, I've seen him play on the international circuit for a couple of years now, but never really rated him as such a fantastic death bowler or such a fantastic 20-20 bowler. But his ability to bowl Yorkers at will is fantastic.
It's fantastic, yeah.
Bang on, whether it's that outside the off-stump Yorker, whether it's on your legs, or whether it's a slower ball.
And he's got that good back of the arm.
Yeah, good leg spinning, left arm leg spinning.
Yeah,
slower ball as well. So, I think they've got a good squad to play with. Still feel Anurag, the day you get De Villiers and Kohli out, the batting lineup just goes for a toss like that. And I still feel they're very, very, very dependent on those two batsmen.
Yeah.
And the team that's able to negotiate them too, I think will have eventually strangled RCB. And Prathamesh says he's disappointed with Finch. Just your last final 2 words on the RCB, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah. I don't know. It gives the 2016 vibes where they are getting boxes ticked, but it's not very convincing. As convincing as the way Delhi Capitals or the Mumbai Indians have been doing it. Now, if you look at the Delhi Capitals, Mumbai Indians, even they have lost just 2 games out of the many games that they've played. And in terms of points, it's pretty much similar. But why you are not able to compare them with that teams is because there is that sense of completeness that you find with Delhi Capitals and Mumbai Indians. It's not there still with the Royal Challengers, and it could be a matter of luck on the day. And I think after this start, I think they should be going into the playoffs. I will put them in the second quadrant. I know I was still. This is the worry that I've always had, that I think the squad, for some reason, I don't know, that over dependency on 1 or 2 players, I think this could haunt them at some of the other point. I know Devdutt Padikkal is a great addition this season, but the last time in 2016 when they had a magnificent season, KL Rahul had his breakthrough season. It was pretty much similar to what Padikkal is having right now. So yeah, but eventually even that season he was just performing in a few games. He was showing great promising signs, but eventually it was De Villiers and Kohli winning them games. And as long as that is happening, they'll do well. But what on a day when they both are not doing well, and if they both get dismissed early in a playoff game or in a final, like it happened in the 2016 final, what happens then? That is the question, and that is
isn't it like Virat Kohli is facing the same problem with India as he is with RCB?
Very much. I think it's very comparable, and I think this season has a very 2016-esque vibe to me, except the fact that Sunrisers didn't do well. There is another small coincidence. Sunrisers lost the first 2 games in that 2016 season to RCB and KKR. The same thing happened this year as well. They went on to win the title that time. I don't expect that to happen this time.
Sunrisers can still qualify for the top 4, and then there is anyone's game.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's about getting into the top 4. I know the playoff thing, I think it can give the top 2 a bit more advantage, which I don't entirely disagree with.
I completely agree with it.
Yeah, Yeah, I like that. I think I do like that system because uh, Delhi Capitals have been the victims of that for a very long time. If to be honest, I think so. Yeah, and coming to RCB, I think yeah they have that those few holes which still can be filled and which could still haunt them. And yeah, Washington Sundar, Prathamesh,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
we
yeah.
mentioned,
That's
yeah,
another
what
player.
a player. He's been underused. He's been underused. People have been
Amazing.
picking at him. People have been abusing RCB for not using that guy properly, and they finally started using him well, and they're getting those crucial overs off him.
Yeah, and at
Yeah,
same thing. Washington Sundar and Akshar Patel for me have been the two most impressive Indian bowlers.
indeed. Yeah, without a
Beyond
doubt.
fast bowlers, of course. Two most impressive Indian spinners, on show.
Yep.
Akshar got hit for his first couple of sixes in his eighth match yesterday,
Yeah,
and it's just unbelievable. And on just finishing up with RCB, I feel it'll all depend on team dynamics, as Pratmesh also says. One can only hope that they're able to capitalize on this momentum. For them, millions and millions of RCB fans and Virat Kohli fans and of course AB de Villiers fans and all of the others.
Virat Kohli admirers. I think I would love to see them go all the way.
Yeah, I love to
That's
see them do well, but fingers crossed. The past, if that's any indicator, we can't
yeah,
really have any hope.
yeah,
But once again, thank you so much, Anurag. And I
yep.
know Pratmesh unfortunately had to push off, towards the end of the video. But a big thanks to him as well. Thank you so much for joining me here, and thank you so much to all of you guys for watching this, mid-season preview, Adha as we call it, for the IPL. And we've made some interesting and not so bold predictions during this time. I think last time they were slightly bolder. And we'll see you for that, third quarter review for the IPL. Up until then, thank you so much for watching. Keep it locked to the Sports Doyen. Here's me along with Anurag and Prathamesh signing off. See you soon.